10 words of it. So that may also be good enough to prompt the
Yeah.
question that way.
Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I think Prabhuji's joined back. Prabhuji, you're mute. आपका mute है. Can't hear you.
Yeah, I connected the laptop, but I forgot to switch on. So, okay, so I think we are on Facebook now. Yeah. Okay. Let me start the recording. Swatmadaji, you can delete the latest video. I have uploaded it.
Prabhuji?
I have uploaded the video now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can just keep a track of our YouTube channel and according to the latest video.
Okay, Prabhuji. I'll check that.
Okay, Nirvika Mataji, would you lead the Kirtan?
Prabhuji, I just have a bit of a cold. Is it okay if someone else can do it?
Okay, okay, no problem. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami
Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namide
Namaste Saraswate Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunjavani Paschatarisakarine
Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatyadesh
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Namo Hare Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare.
Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama
Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Ho Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Hari Nam Sankirtan Yajna ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Vaishnava ki jai.
Jai, Jai.
Jai Jai Shri Radhe Shyam.
Sham.
Jai Ho Hari Bol.
Jai.
Okay. Which verse we are going to start?
One 194, na? Verse 194.
One 194.
Yeah, we have to start from 194. Chapter 8, 194, Madhya Leela.
Are you sure, bro? 194? I have mentioned 160.
Let me see your chat, Prabhuji, once again.
No. 7 September, yeah. Verse cover 193. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just wanted to make a quick announcement that next Saturday we'll be mostly having His Grace Mahatma Prabhu. I just sent him a topic and I think he's going to confirm it. And tomorrow also we'll have our Prabhupada Leela class, and then on Monday we'll have our CC class, regular CC class on Monday. And then on Thursday, I don't know if you have heard about, but Swati Mataji must have heard about this Bhakti Sangha Japa group from US. So they have asked me to, they have invited me to speak on a Bhagavatam verse. That will be on Thursday at 4:50 p.m., which is quite early for those who are living in US. I think 7 o'clock in the morning for them.
Voice breaking, Prabhuji. Didn't hear. What time?
4:50 p.m. Indian time.
Indian time 4:50 in the morning.
No, evening.
Evening. I see.
Yeah. So if you are able to attend, then you all can attend. And yeah, it will be, I think, from the 4th or 29th chapter. I will forward the details once they make a flyer. Then I will forward that.
Okay, mostly I'll be in office, but let's see if I can. I don't know.
Acha, okay. What about Nirvika Mataji, Alisha Mataji? You both can join.
Prabhu, I'll be able to hear the recording. I think I know that group. I've already subscribed. Bhakti
Oh,
Sangha.
acha.
It's I
You are in
think
the
from
WhatsApp group.
Charlotte, USA.
Yeah.
I will listen to the recording because I think it will be. I don't know what the time will be. So
4:50 p.m. Indian time. So I think it will be around 12 o'clock for you.
then I can attend. If it's 12 noon, I can attend.
Okay, good. Nirvika
Yeah.
Mataji?
Yeah, Prabhuji, I'll try. I mean, it just depends on my work situation then. Mostly I'll try to join. It's a Zoom call, right?
Yeah, it will be a Zoom call.
Okay, I'll try my best to attend then.
Okay, sure. I mean, obviously there is no obligation to attend, but I'm just asking in case. Swati Mataji, will you be able to attend?
I'm not sure, Prabhu.
Okay, no problem.
I'll hear
Yeah,
the
because it
recording.
will be early morning for you, no?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's start with CC Bhakti 8 chapter 194 verse. Verse 194. This seems to be a long verse, and it is Okay, but I only one verse, but it is long verse. Kind of strange. Okay. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकाय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ओके। पहिले ही राग नयन भंगे भेले अनुदीन। once again. Okay. पहिले ही राग नयन भंगे भेल अनुदिन बादल अवधिन गेल ना सोरमण ना हमरमणि दुनु मन मनोभव ऐसल जानी ए सखी ए सब प्रेमा कहानी कानुत में कह भी बिचुरल जानी ना खोजालुन दूती ना खोजालुन आना दुन हु केरी मिलाने मध्यता पंच बाण अब सोई विरागत तूनु भेली दूती सुपुरुप प्रेम की ऐचन रीति. Okay. Yes. Before we meet, there was an initial attachment between us, brought about by an exchange of glances. In this way, attachment evolved. That attachment was gradually grown, and there is no limit to it. Now that attachment has become a natural sequence between ourselves. It is not that it is due to Krishna, the enjoyer, nor is it due to me, for I am enjoyed. It is not like that. This attachment was made possible by mutual meeting. This mutual exchange of attraction is known as manobhav, or Krishna's mind and my mind have merged together. Now, during this time of separation, it is very difficult to explain these loving affairs. My dear friend, though Krishna might have forgotten all these things, you can understand and bring this message to him. But during our first meeting, there was no messenger between us, nor did I request anyone to see him. Indeed, Cupid's arrow, 5 arrows were our via media. Now, during this separation, that attraction has increased to another ecstatic state. My dear friend, please act as a messenger on my behalf. Because if one is in love with a beautiful person, this is the consequence. These verses were originally composed and sung by Ramanda Rai himself. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur suggests that during the time of conjugal enjoyment, the attachment might be compared to Cupid himself. However, during the period of separation, Cupid becomes a messenger of highly elevated love. This is called Prem Vilas Vivarta. When there is separation, conjugal enjoyment itself acts like a messenger, and there was addressed by Srimati Radharani as a friend. The essence of this transaction is that transcendental loving affairs are as relishable during separation as during conjugal enjoyment. When Srimati Radharani was fully absorbed in love of Krishna, she mistook a black tamal tree for Krishna and embraced it. Such a mistake is called Prem Vilas Vivarta. Okay, so the next verse. राधाय भवतश्च चित्तजतुनि स्वेदैर्विलप्य क्रमान् युञ्जन्नद्रिनिकुञ्जकुञ्जरपते निर्धुत्तभेद ब्रह्मम् तय स्वयम् अन्वरान्न जयादिह ब्रह्माण्डे हर्म्योदरे भूयोभिनवराग भरे श्रृंगार कारुकृति. Radhaya, Srimati Radharani, Bhavatacha, and of you, Chitta Jatuni, the two minds like Shalak, sway the by perspiration, Vilapya melting, Kramat gradually, Yunjan making, Adri of Govardhan Hill, Nikunja in a solitary place for enjoyment, Kunja of the elephants, Nirduta completely taken away, Veda Brahmam, the misunderstanding of differentiation, Chitraya for increasing the wonder, Swayam personally, Anva Ran Jayat, colored here in this world, Brahmanda of the universe, Harmya Uddare, within the palace, Huyobi by varieties of means, Navarag of new attraction, Ingula Bharat by the vermilion, Shringar of loving affairs, Karu the craftsman, quickly very expert. My lord, you live in the forest of Golden Hill, and like the king of elements. You are expert in the art of conjugal love, O master of the universe. Your heart and Srimati Radharani's heart are just like shellac and are now melted in your spiritual perspiration. Therefore, one can no longer distinguish between you and Srimati Radharani. Now you have mixed your newly invoked affection, which is like vermilion, with your melted hearts. And for the benefit of hearts, read within this great palace of the universe. This was quoted by Ramandarai, is included in Nirup Goswami's Ujjwal Nilamani Sthayi Bhav Prakaran 155. So these are just the dealings, emotions between Radha and Krishna. And, these are something to be experienced. I mean, some explanation may be given, but it is quite natural. All these emotions are natural that we see in the material world also. Although the emotions, the bliss that is experienced in the material world is insignificant compared to that in the spiritual world. But still, these are like very logical emotions because we also experience it in the material world. So anyone has any question or comment? Okay, next. प्रभु कहे साध्य वस्तुर अवधिये हय तुम्हारा प्रसाद यह जानी लो निश्चय. Prabhu Kaya Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu confirmed Sadhya Vastura of the object of life, of the limit. It is Tomar of you, Prasadya by mercy. Here this Janilu I have understood conclusively. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu confirmed these verses recited by Sri Ramandarai, saying, this is the limit of the goal of human life. Only by your mercy now I have come to understand it conclusively. साध्य वस्तु साधना बिनु केह नहीं पाया कृपा करी कराया पावर उपाय. Sadhya vastu, the goal of life, sadhana binu, without practicing the process. Keha nahi paya, no one achieves. Kripa kari, very mercifully. Kaha, please explain. Rai, dear Ramandarai. Pabara, upaya, the means of achieving. The goal of life cannot be achieved unless one practices the process. Now, being merciful upon me, please explain that means by which the goal can be attained. राय कहे कहो से कही वाणी की कही ये भाला बंडा किछु नहीं जाने. Rai kahe, Ramandarai replied, yeah, whatever, how you make me speak, say that kahi I speak. Mani message ki what kahiye I'm speaking. Bhala manda, good or bad, kichu na jani, I do not know anything. Sri Ramandarai replied, I do not know what I'm saying, but you have made me speak what I have spoken, be it good or bad. I'm simply repeating that message. त्रिभुवन मध्य हय को नधीर ये तोमार माया नाते है इबेक स्थिर. Trivuvan madhye within the three worlds I have so much haya, there is one who dhira patient ye who tomar your maya nate in the manipulation of different energies ibike will be sthira steady. Within these three worlds who is so undisturbed that he can remain steady as you manipulate your different energies. मोरा मुख्य वक्त तुम्ही तुम्ही हा औषधा अत्यंत रहस्य सुना साधन Nera Katha. Mora Mukhi in my mouth, Vakta speaker to me. You are, to me, you are, Shrota, the hearer, Atyanta Rasya, extremely mysterious. Suna, now please hear, Sada Nera Katha, the discussion of the process. Actually, you are speaking through my mouth, and at the same time, you are listening. This is very mysterious. Anyway, kindly hear the explanation of the process by which the goal can be attained. Purport. Srila Sanatana Goswami has advised us to hear Krishna about Krishna from a Vaishnava. It is explicitly forbidden us to hear from a Vaishnava. Vaishnav Mukhodikranam Putam Hari Katamritam Savanam Naiva Kartavyam Sarpochistam Yathapaya. Quoting, thus quoting from Padma Purana, Sanatana Goswami warns that one should not hear anything about Krishna from an Vaishnava. However, a great mundane scholar he may be, being touched by the slips of a serpent as poisonous effects. Similarly, talks about Krishna given by a Vaishnava are also poisonous. However, because a Vaishnava is surrendered to supreme study of Godhead, his talks are spiritually potent. In the Bhagavad Gita 10.10, the Supreme Lord says, Tesam sakalam yuktanam bhajatam privitpurvakam dadami buddhi yogantam yena mam payantite. Those who are constantly devoted to serving, worshipping me with love, I give them understanding by which they can come to me. When a pure Vaishnava speaks, he speaks perfectly. How is this? His speech is managed by Krishna himself from within the heart. Sri Ramandarai accepts this benediction from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore, he admits that whatever he was speaking was not derived from his own intelligence. Rather, everything was coming from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. According to the Bhagavad Gita 15.15, Sarvasacham Sanivisto Mataspriti Jnanam Aponam Cha Vedascha Sarvar Am Vedya Vedanta Prit Vedavid Evacham. Seated in everyone's heart, from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta and I am the knower of the Vedas. All intelligence emanates from the Supreme Personality of God, the super soul within the heart of everyone. Non-devotees want to ask the Supreme Lord for sense gratification. So non-devotees come under the influence of Maya, the illusory energy. A devotee is directed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead and comes under the influence of Yoga Maya. Consequently, there is a crucial difference between statements made by devotee and those made by non-devotee. Okay, so to begin with, first and foremost thing is not to hear from a Vaishnava. So see, it's not just about hearing, but also about many other things. So we get connected to a devotee or a pure devotee, and then we follow the pure devotee completely. So, like for example, see, there are others who have got a lot of projects. Like for example, cow protection is there, or some kind of projects or services which is quite favorable to the Vaishnava culture. Okay, and so outsiders also, they are able to perform some service, but it is always best to render service in our own sampradaya and to our own Gurujan. Why? Because there is a lot of purity, there is a lot of potency. And why there is potency and purity? Because we are chanting the holy name constantly, we are following the regulative principles, and we are also hearing. So we are following the process of sadhana bhakti very sincerely, very seriously. Whereas others, if they do not chant the holy name, if they do not practice any sadhana, then even if they may be able to render some service externally, but that service will not have so much potency, and at the same time it will not be complete in itself. Why? It's a very simple thing to understand. Because, for example, now there are many organizations which also give protection to the cows, which is a very good thing. Cows are protected, so obviously all the Vaishnavas, they want that each and every cow in the entire universe should be protected. So we definitely support them, we favor them. But if we have an opportunity to establish our own cow protection, then we will give our heart and soul to that project. Okay, why? Because if we really want to protect cows, that means we have to make other people Vaishnavas. So now there are a lot of meat eaters, right? And if you tell them about cow protection, they will not be favorable towards it. They will not like it because they themselves are meat eaters or beef eaters, right? There's so many people in the world, especially in the Western countries. Beef is very popular and common. So if you want them to completely stop eating beef or eating meat, then the best thing is to actually make them Vaishnavas. So if you make them Vaishnavas, then automatically everything else will follow. They will follow everything, right? Whatever Vaishnava culture, whatever is then Vaishnava culture, they will follow everything. And that means one thing will solve multiple purposes. Okay. And at the same time, because in Kali Yuga, Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Eva Kevalam, Kalau Nasti, Eva Nasti, we know that. So that's why without the assistance of the holy name and without personal sadhana, without personal purity, it's very actually difficult to have that effect on others. It is Mainpad as well as Chaitanya Charitamrita that Kali Kalera Naam Rupa Krishna Sankirtan, Krishna Shakti Vina Nahi Tara Pravartan. So without the special potency and mercy can transform others, right? And the way to transform others is to first of all have a very strong sadhana and then have intense desire to share this with others. If you have very strong sadhana, but if you don't desire at all, if you don't want to share with others, then also there is some lacking. But if you have intense desire like Srila Prabhupada, so he had intense desire to fulfill the instruction of his Guru Maharaj, and he went to great extent to achieve that. So that's why, you know, he's the most successful Acharya who has spread the holy name throughout nook and corner of the world. And now what happened? Because of that spreading of the holy name, because of book distribution, so many devotees are created, they are made by Prabhupada's mercy, right? So because of them, now they are coming up with so many projects. So the first thing is that we have to focus on expansion, we have to focus on creation of Vaishnavas. And whenever we create Vaishnavas more and more, they will have purity, and obviously we have to train them in personal sadhana also. They have to have very strict sadhana, and they must try to serve, take up some project, whether it is Varnashram, cow protection, book distribution, Harinam Sankirtan, or DT worship, whatever it is, they must take up some project and they must fully focus on that. So if we do this, then whatever we speak, it will have effect. There, because the purity will be there, and it will have tremendous effect. Now, ideally, if all the devotees together they undertake a project, then the project can have very good success result. Otherwise, if there are non-devotees only in the project, in the sense that even if they do worship cows or if they do worship the Lord, but they don't have personal sadhana, then what will happen? Even though they may be successful for some period of time, but over the long run, everything will collapse. So this is the history, and this is what we experience also. Wherever there is lack of sadhana, wherever there is no sadhana, wherever there is no understanding about Krishna's tattva, over a period of time, everything is dried up. Okay, so that's why everything that we do, it should be in the realm of our Vaishnava Sampradaya, and that will have maximum purity, maximum effect. So whether it is hearing, whether it is chanting, so not just Shravanam, but even hearing about the holy name also should be from a pure Vaishnava. And then the Kirtanam, the Smaranam, the Padasevanam, the Archanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, everything has to be in the association of devotees who really want to advance. At least they have accepted the fact that they want to, their goal of life is to serve Krishna and to serve Guru. Okay, so and they are also willing to sacrifice, and they're willing to advance in spiritual life. So these kind of devotees we have to associate, we have to hear from them. Now the question is that, okay, the Shastra is talking about hearing from pure Vaishnava. So does it mean that we should only, all of us should only hear from Srila Prabhupada because he's the Acharya, and we should not hear from Prabhupada disciples or his followers? No, we know that we do hear from so many devotees in ISKCON, and so one thing we have to remember, first and foremost, that definitely Prabhupada's position is unique. He's the Acharya, so he's like superior to all of us. He's superior to even his disciples, right? So that discrimination capacity we should have, that the Acharya's position is unique. Under the Acharya, all other devotees, they come. Okay. And now obviously we know that there are many who are very advanced devotees, and maybe some are uttama, some are madhyama, some are kanishta. So accordingly we have to discriminate and we have to associate with them. But whoever is repeating the message of Guru and Krishna and who is sincerely following the instructions of his parampara, they are also considered to be pure devotees. In fact, in one particular purport which I had shared in the group, this is from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhupada very clearly writes that if a disciple is completely surrendered to the spiritual master, okay, that means basically whatever he has been told, he's following the instructions of the spiritual master. If he's following the instruction of the spiritual master, then the super soul will start helping the devotee from within. So it is not necessary that the super soul will only help at advanced stages. The super soul can also start helping at lower stages. But provided we connect strongly with the Guru's instruction, we follow the Guru's instruction, then the Guru, external Guru, will connect us with the internal form of Guru, which is the Chaitya Guru, the super soul. Okay. And then the super soul will start dictating us from within. So many times we get inspiration, we say something which may affect other devotees or other people, and that may be because of the Paramatma's connection, okay, or Paramatma's touch in our contribution. So it is not necessary that only pure Vaishnavas they are held by the Paramatma. In fact, Prabhupada actually was so merciful that he has connected us to Paramatma right from the beginning, provided that we follow the instructions of Guru. Okay, so if we are sincere and if we strive to advance in spiritual life, then we will also receive timely guidance from the Paramatma. It's not that you start talking to the Paramatma directly, but at certain occasions, certain times, you will be inspired by the Paramatma and you will also understand that. Okay. And then obviously there will be situations where you will be confused, whether it is the Paramatma saying or whether it is your own mind. So in that case, obviously we have to consult our Gurujan and we have to clarify from them. But whenever you are in difficulty, whenever you don't have access to your Gurujan, and in fact in most of the situations we are alone, so that time Paramatma will definitely help us, and he has helped us to a lot of extent. So this is how we have to hear, and then obviously now the question is from whom to hear. So these days we know that there are so many thousands and thousands of devotees. Hare Krishna TV has list of so many devotees. They are each and every day there is a new speaker, and then in different temples we have different speakers, and now everything is online because of the pandemic. So now from whom to hear? So many devotees are there. So the Shastra recommends that we have to hear from our Gurujan first, and we should continue to hear from our Gurujan. We should not stop that. And if we have time and if there is some service, then we can hear from others also. But we should not stop hearing from our own Gurujan. And I think this is something which does not require some kind of this is not a rule or something, because if you are naturally inspired by someone, you will keep hearing them repeatedly throughout your life. There's no question of force, artificial inspiration. So obviously you must have heard from different speakers till now, right? Because I think all of you have spent more than 5 years in Krishna consciousness, and so you will now actually understand that different devotees, they have different tastes, they have different varieties. They also speak, they give emphasis on different things. So we can understand whom to connect with now. Okay, we have to filter it out, and we have to give priority to the devotees who are inspiring us the most, and they become our Diksha and Siksha Gurus later on, like that. So whenever the Gurujan they are speaking, so we must hear from them first, and if we get a chance to hear from others, then we can hear. And obviously there are different situations, context, circumstances where we can hear from different speakers. Like for example, if you just want to hear a festival class, and if your Guru has not given any festival class on that particular topic, you may hear from some other devotee also. Or if you want to do some research on a particular topic and you require more information, or you require detailed information on the topic which your Gurujan has not provided, then you may hear from other devotees and you can get that information. And you can also hear, and it's not that, see, you may have your Gurujan till now, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 devotees, but probably in the future someone may also inspire you naturally, and you want to establish a long-term relationship with that devotee. So you can do that also, provided that you have the time to do it. And obviously the Guru has to be available also to guide you and train you. So these are many things. I mean, it's not just about hearing from non-Vaishnav, but even when we become serious in spiritual life, we have to filter out many things. So these things are very important to understand. So any devotee, they have any question or comment on this? Okay, no question.
No, Prabhuji.
Yeah. All right. So who can continue now? Nirmala Mataji, would you like to continue?
I'll just read maybe 1-2 shlokas, just that my noses is getting blocked a bit often. That's just my problem.
Okay.
201. 28201. राधा कृष्णेरा लीला ए अति गुधतर दास्य वात्सल्य आदि भावे नाहय गोचर. Radha Krishnera Leela, the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Radha Krishna Leela, the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. This is Ati, very much. Gudhatara, more confidential. Dasya, of servitude. Vatsalya Adi, and of parental love, etc. Bhave, in the moods. Nahaye, is not. Gochara, appreciated. The pastimes of Radha and Krishna are very confidential. They cannot be understood through the mellows of servitude, fraternity, or parental affection. 28202. सबे एक सखी गनेरा इहा अधिकार सखी है ते है ए लीलार विस्तार. Sabe, only, Eka, one, Sakhi Ganera, of the gopis. Iha, in this, Adhikar, qualification, Sakhi, the gopis, Haite, from, Haya, is, A Lilara, of these pastimes, Vistar, the expansion. Actually, only the gopis have the right to appreciate these transcendental pastimes, and only from them can these pastimes be expanded. 28203. Sakhi vina e lila pushta nahi haya, Sakhi lila vistariya, Sakhi asvadaya. Sakhi vina, without the gopis, e lila, these pastimes, pushta, nourished, nahi haya, are never. Sakhi, the gopis, lila, the pastimes, Vistarya, expanding, Sakhi, the gopis, asvadaya, taste this mellow. Without the gopis, these pastimes between Radha and Krishna cannot be nourished. Only by their cooperation are such pastimes broadcast. It is their business to taste the mellows. Prabhuji, okay, wait, I'll read this one. Okay. 28204. Sakhi vina e lilaya anyera nahi gati, Sakhi bhave ye tara kare anugati. Radha Krishna kunja seva sadhya ye sei paya, sei sadhya paite ara nahi ka upaya. Sakhi vina, without the gopis, e lilaya, in these pastimes, anyera, of others, nahi, there is not, gati, entrance, Sakhi bhave, in the mood of the gopis, yea, anyone who. Tare, Lord Krishna. Kare, does. Anugati, following. Radha Krishna, of Radha and Krishna. Kunja Seva, of service in kunjas or gardens of Vrindavan. Sadhya, the goal. Say Paya, he gets. Say that. Sadhya, achievement. Paite, to receive. Ara, other. Nahika, there is not. Upaya, means. Without the help of the gopis, one cannot enter into these pastimes. Only one who worships the Lord in the ecstasy of the gopis, following in their footsteps, can engage in the service of Sri Sri Radha Krishna in the bushes of Vrindavan. Only then can one understand the conjugal love between Radha and Krishna. There is no other procedure for understanding. Purport. The means for returning home, for going back to Godhead, is devotional service, but everyone has a different taste in the Lord's service. One may be inclined to serve the Lord in servitude, dasyaras, fraternity, sakhiras, or parental love, vatsalyaras. But none of these can enable one to enter into the service of the Lord in conjugal love. To attain such service, one has to follow in the footsteps of the gopis in the ecstasy of Sakhi Bhav. Then only can one understand the transcendental mellows of conjugal love. In the Ujjvala Nilamani, Sri Rupa Goswami advises, Prema Leela Viharan Samyak Vistarika Sakhi Vishramba Ratna Peticha. One who expands the conjugal love of Krishna and his enjoyment among the gopis is called a Sakhi. Such a person is a confidential gopi in the conjugal affairs. Such assistants are like jewels in the form of Krishna's confidence. The actual business of the Sakhis is described thus in Ujjwal Nilamani. Mitha prema gunot kirtis tayor asakti karita abhisaro dvayor eva sakhya krishne samarpanam narmasvasana nepatyam hridaya gothaya patavan chidra samvritir etasya pati ete parivarchanam shiksha sangamam kale sevanam व्यजनादिभिः तयोर्द्वयोर उपलब्धम संदेश प्रेषणम तथा नायिका प्राण संरक्षा प्रयत्नादः सखी क्रिया. In the conjugal pastimes of Krishna, Krishna is the hero, Nayak, and Radhika is the heroine, Nayika. The first business of the gopis is to chant the glories of both the hero and the heroine. Their second business is to gradually create a situation in which the hero may be attracted to the heroine, and vice versa. Their third business is to induce both of them to approach each other. Their fourth business is to surrender unto Krishna. And the fifth is to create a jovial atmosphere. The sixth, to give them assurance to enjoy their pastimes. The seventh, to dress and decorate both the hero and the heroine. The eighth, to show expertise in expressing their desires. The ninth, to conceal the faults of the heroine. The 10th, to cheat their respective husbands and relatives. The 11th, to educate. The 12th, to enable both the hero and the heroine to meet at the proper time. The 13th, to fan the hero and the heroine. The 14th, to sometimes reproach the hero and heroine. The 15th, to set conversations in motion. And the 16th, to protect the heroine by various means. Some materialistic sahajiyas who cannot actually understand the pastimes of Radha and Krishna manufacture their own lifestyles without referring to authority. Such sahajiyas are called Sakhi Beki, and sometimes they are called Gaura Nagari. They believe that the material body, which is fit to be eaten by jackals and dogs, is enjoyable for Krishna. Consequently, they artificially decorate the material body to attract Krishna, thinking themselves Sakhis. But Krishna is never attracted by the artificial grooming of the material body. As far as Srimati Radharani and her gopis are concerned, their bodies, homes, dresses, ornaments, endeavors and activities are all spiritual. All of these are meant to satisfy the spiritual senses of Krishna. Indeed, they are so pleasing and endearing to Krishna that he is subjugated by the influence of Srimati Radharani and her friends. They have nothing to do with anything mundane within the 14 planetary systems of the universe. Although Krishna is attractive to everyone, he is nonetheless attracted by the gopis and Srimati Radharani. One should not be misled by mental concoctions, supposing this material body to be perfect and deeming oneself a Sakhi. This is something like Ahangrahopasan, that is, a Mayavadi's worship of his own body as the supreme. Srila Jiva Goswami has cautioned mundaners to abstain from such conceptions. He also warns that thinking oneself one of the associates of the Supreme without following the footsteps of the gopis is as offensive as thinking oneself the Supreme. Such thinking is an aparadh. One has to practice living in Vrindavan by hearing about the talks of the gopis with Krishna. However, one should not consider himself a gopi, for this is offensive.
Yeah, so we can see how Prabhupada has given everything to us, the essence of the teachings of all the previous acharyas and Goswamis. And he has quoted many books also in his perfects, especially in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So it is not possible to become a gopi unless and until we follow in the footsteps of the gopis of Raj. And then even in Braj also, or in Goloka also, we have different divisions like Gokul, Vrindavan and all that. And there is Parkiya Bhav, there is Sakya Bhav. Um, and then you can also worship Radha and Krishna in Aishwarya Bhav in Goloka. And then if you don't follow in the footsteps of these Vrajvasis, then you attain position in Dwarka or Mathura. Or you may attain position in uh, Gokul also, but you will be a Vaishari worshipping Radha and Krishna in Aishwarya Bhav. So they don't go to Mathura and Dwarka because everyone, Krishna will reciprocate according to the devotee's desire, how they perceive the relationship between Krishna and themselves, uh, because they are not worshippers of Rukmini Dwarkadish, and they are also not worshippers of Satyabhama and Krishna. So their attention, their focus is on Radha and Krishna. But if they do not give up the mentality of worshipping them with awe and reverence, then they end up becoming associates of Radha and Krishna in Aishwarya Bhav, in Goloka. And then obviously there are different categories, different degrees of the mode of worship. You can have mixed Vaidhi and Raganuga both, or you can have pure Raganuga, complete sweetness. So like depending on that, how you worship the Lord, you will attain that particular destination. But one thing is for sure that if you want to attain the mode of gopis in Madhurya Ras, in Parikya Bhav, then there is no option but to follow in the footsteps of the gopis. So unless and until you follow the gopis of Vrindavan, which means you follow the Ragatmika devotees, you cannot attain this conjugal relationship with Radha and Krishna. So this is very important to understand. And now many times the question is asked that in ISKCON we are not discussing all these things. So what is going to be the destination of these devotees? And ISKCON we also see that there is some kind of emphasis given on Vaidhi Sadhana, because we know that we have started from Vaidhi Sadhana, and then it is mentioned that as we advance, as we get taste, we then gradually progress to Raganuga Sadhana. So now, what is the destination of the devotees of ISKCON? Because they are not speaking about Raganuga's topics. They are not speaking about Raganuga Bhakti, Raganuga Bhajan. So where are they going to go? So what is the answer?
Prabhu, I think I had heard a class by Bhakti Charu Maharaj, and he was addressing this question that some people are saying that Prabhupada did not give us everything, and he clearly defended and stated that how actually it is ISKCON which is giving the highest, because he was saying that when the love matures, like through sadhana, you experience it, and I think he also said that rigidly by following the rules and regulation only that love comes. It can't just be thinking that okay, I'll follow in the footsteps. It has to be backed by strictly following the rules and regulations, which Prabhupada emphasized. And so he spoke more about discipline. Prabhupada spoke more about discipline and things like that. So yeah, I think it's not that I think ISKCON is the only organization that will help us to reach the highest. That's what I think most of ISKCON followers feel.
Okay. Yeah, so whatever Maharaj said, definitely. Uh, but I think there is also something, some more clarification explanation is required. Uh, so basically, the question is that obviously we know that without Raganuga Bhakti, one cannot go to Vraj. This is what Prabhupada also has clearly, although Prabhupada didn't say anywhere that we have to practice Raganuga Bhajan, and nowhere in ISKCON will find that. And it is also somewhat surprising that in all of his promises and statements to his disciples, Prabhupada always mentioned that you just serve, just spread Krishna consciousness, give your life to Krishna, uh, be Krishna conscious, fully absorbed in Krishna, chant constantly, serve constantly, remain absorbed 24 hours a day. So you will see that Prabhupada said many things like that. But I don't remember or I don't find anywhere where Prabhupada ever said that unless and until we do Raganuga Bhajan, specifically, because Rupa Goswami states it should be done in two forms, in the external form as well as internal form. So in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, he has given a particular verse which mentions about the external and internal aspects of a devotee practicing Raganuga Bhakti. And so we don't hear this from Srila Prabhupada. We have never heard it. So then how will we attain that platform? How will we go to Vraj? So are we practicing Vaidhi Bhakti in ISKCON? Or are we following Raganuga Bhakti? Are we practicing Raganuga Bhakti? So I think every ISKCON devotee must know what they are following. Because if they don't know what they are following, then how will they attain the sadhya?
I think Prabhu, initially it is Vedi, and then when you get a taste for it, like someone is forced to go to school and then the child automatically wants to go to school. Like, so it's like that later on you get a taste for it and then you are hooked to the process. So that is Raganuga, right? Like nobody's telling you to do it, and it's not that you are doing it because you have to do it, but you want to do it.
Okay, now the question is, based on your answer, even Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakta, he will also develop spontaneous devotion to the Lord after some time because he will also develop taste. So is that Raganuga? So see, first of all, there is a general definition of Raganuga, which means spontaneous. So sometimes Prabhupada translates it as spontaneous devotion. But the technical definition of Raganuga Bhakti is coming from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Rupa Goswami, who has defined Raganuga. In the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it is very clearly defined that Rag Anug, which means that you follow the sentiments of you have to follow the sentiments of a Brajvasi. And these sentiments, they are extremely intense. They are very intense and they are absorbed. Like whichever devotee is practicing Rag Marg, so they are more attracted to the pastimes of Vrindavan and they are more absorbed. They are more intensely absorbed in remembering Krishna and the Vrajvasis. So this is called Rag Marg. Now Rag Marg technically also can be applied not just to the gopis but also to the Vrajvasis, which means that if you want to attain Dasya Bhava or Sakya or Vatsalya, then also you'll have to practice Rag Marg, because if you want to go to Vraj, then there is no other way. So this Rag Marg, and then obviously there are different categories, Sambandhanuga and Kamanuga Rag Marg, Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti. So these are different two forms of Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti. And so depending on your inclination, you select one of those. The Sambandhanuga is specifically related to the from Dasya to Vatsalya Bhav, and Kamanuga is specifically related to the Madhurya Bhav. Okay. Now, Sambandh means something which is in relation with. So even Kamanuga is actually in relation with Krishna. There is a relationship, but because it has some other features in it, which are very unique features, that's why it is a different category, and it is called as Kamanuga, which means you are motivated by the lust, okay, in order to love Krishna. So it's a unique feature, and that's why it has a separate category. So these are actually technically, this is what Raganuga is actually, according to Shastra, defined the way the Acharyas have. Whereas the other general definition is spontaneous. Now this spontaneous love can also manifest for Lord Vishnu or Lord Ramchandra, right? But so we have to understand one thing: the spontaneous love that will manifest for the Lord, especially for Lord Vishnu or his avatars, that will be in the mood of awe and reverence. It will not be in the mood of sweetness, right? So that spontaneous love is different, and that's why if you practice Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, you attain Bhav Bhakti, which is different from the Bhav which you attain by practicing Raganuga Sadhana. So if you practice Raganuga Sadhana, you attain a type of Bhav, which we're talking about the stage of the 9 stages, the Bhav. So the Bhav which you attain by practicing Raganuga Bhakti is different from that which is attained by following Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. Okay. Which is definitely the Raganuga, which is the Bhav which is attained by Vaidhi Sadhana is an inferior type of Bhav compared to the Bhav attained by following Raganuga, because there is a lot of intimacy and there is intense absorption also in Raganuga Bhakti. Okay, so so there is a distinguishing factor between the two, and so now the question is that, okay, so having understood this, how do we attain Vraj? Because we are not externally we may not follow in ISKCON. We are generally not heard, we are not hearing all these things so much, and we are also not practicing it, right? So now how will you attain these stages, or how will you know whether you are in that direction? Okay, so now, okay, tell me one thing. Which are the 2 tracks that Prabhupada gave us in ISKCON? 2 parallel tracks. No one knows? That's surprising.
Serving Guru and Krishna, are these the 2 tracks that you are
Well,
referring to?
yeah, I mean, yeah, that is also there, but it is common. This is common for both. Okay, whether it is Vaidhi Bhakti or Raganuga Bhakti, it's common for both. So which is the track? Which are these 2 tracks? 2 parallel tracks.
Panchratrik and
Yes.
Bhagavad Gita.
Panchratrik and Bhagavad Vidhi. So you must have heard Prabhupada many times, he has mentioned in the lectures or in his class or in his commentary that there are 2 paths which are prominent, Panchratrik Vidhi, Bhagavad Vidhi. Bhagavad Vidhi is what? It is Rag Marg, and Panchratrik Vidhi is Vaidhi Marg. Why Vaidhi? Because it is consisting of rules and regulations, whereas Bhagavad Vidhi is very spontaneous in the sense that it is very intensely absorbing type of devotion. and it is completely related to the relationship with the Lord. Does not depend on it. It is basically establishing sweetness with the Lord. Okay, so now Bhagavad Vidhi, the name itself actually means it is connected with Srimad Bhagavatam. And Panchratrik Vidhi means that the Vidhi which is prescribed by Narad Muni. In 5 days, I think Brahma spoke to Narad Muni. That's why it is called as Panchratrik. In 5 nights of Brahma, he spoke to Narada because the demons Madhu and Ketab had stolen the Vedas. And that's why the Lord spoke to Brahma again. So I think it was the Lord who spoke in 5 nights, or it was Brahma who spoke in 5 nights to Narad Muni. Something like that. That's why it is called as Pancharatri Vidhi. Okay. So these are the coming from Narada Pancharatra, which is one of the Smritis. And this is particularly focused on the worship of deities, especially focused on deity worship. So now what is deity worship? Deity worship is Vaidhi Marg. Okay. Deity worship can also become Rag Marg if you once you start worshipping the Lord completely in the mood of sweetness with the same deity. But generally, because we are following rules and regulations, we are not, so that basically what happens is we start developing awe and reverence for the Lord because we are not familiar with the Lord in the beginning. So finally, so what is happening here from Vaidhi, the mode of worship is shifting towards Rag Marg. Okay, and this is not exactly what Alisha Mataji was referring to, that we are transiting from Vaidhi to Raganuga, which is from rules regulation to spontaneous, not in the sense of getting a taste for the service, because this is common for the worship of Vishnu also. But what I'm saying is that the mode of worship will start changing. So you transit from rules and regulations, and then you develop sweet loving relationship with the Lord, because you constantly hear from Srimad Bhagavatam about glories of Krishna, his pastimes, his associates, and you develop similar types of sentiments to attain the Lord. So now what is happening here is, in ISKCON, Panchratrik Vidhi is completely backed up by Bhagavad Vidhi. In fact, more emphasis has been given to the Bhagavad Vidhi than to the Panchratrik Vidhi. Okay, that's why, and Bhagavad Vidhi also consists of chanting of the holy names and associating with devotees. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Sparanam, and at the same time Sadhu Sangha. So if we are getting that kind of association, similar-minded devotees who are fixed upon Krishna in Vrindavan. Now let me ask you a simple question. How many of you would like to attain Lord Narayan in Vaikuntha? How many of you? None? How many of you would like to attain Krishna Rukmini Dwarkadish? How many of you would like to attain Lord Ramchandra? And how many of you would like to attain Vrindavan Krishna with Srimati Radharani and all the gopis completely in Rag Marg? Okay, all 5 hands are up. Okay, includes me also. Yeah, so now see, everyone wants to attain Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. Okay, so now you tell me one thing. If we want to attain Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan, how can he send us to some other place? And we are also hearing about Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. How can he send to some other place? That is not possible, because Krishna will reciprocate with his devotees' desires. So you will not attain Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan.
Navadvip Dham will also do.
Okay, I will come to that.
Navadvip Dham will also do.
I will come to that. And Navadvip Dham, it is also connected to Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. That also I will discuss. But this is very important to understand that, see, here Prabhupada has given a mission, and if he talks about all these things, if he talks about Raganuga Bhajan and all, the entire preaching mission will be stopped. Because everyone will become, they will become Bhajanandis. They will just focused on doing bhajan. And obviously there is a qualification also required, but what about the preaching? The preaching will stop completely. And this is what exactly Prabhupada disciples, they intended to do. They started a group, they formed a group, and it was called as the Gopi Bhav Club. Okay. So they wanted to develop, because they went to Vrindavan, they associated with some Babajis, and they also learned in Shastra. They also read in Shastras, especially by the Goswamis, by the Acharyas, that how without Raganuga Bhajan, you cannot go back to Godhead. You cannot attain Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. So having known all these things, they started to, because they all wanted to attain Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan, and because they knew that this is the highest form of worship. So they formed a Gopi Bhav Club, and they started discussing about the pastimes of Krishna with the gopis. And when Prabhupada got to know this, he was furious like anything. He started yelling, shouting, that bogus nonsense, everything is all rascal. And he was extremely upset, and immediately he stopped everything. And then he asked all the devotees to assemble, and he fired them like left and right. He scolded them like anything. And then he told them that, you don't even have the qualification, and you are discussing so many big things. So throughout Prabhupada's teachings, we find this concept that Prabhupada always spoke about going back to Godhead in this lifetime, attaining Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan, but he spoke in the sense of serving Krishna, just to serve Krishna. And then one time Prabhupada was asked this question, that Prabhupada, we have heard, like I think it was Yamuna Mataji who asked this question to Prabhupada, that we hear that one cannot attain Radha and Krishna without following the Vrajvasi. And Prabhupada said, don't worry, I am that Vrajvasi. So you just follow me and everything will be taken care of. So yeah, this principle is definitely there. Okay, that we follow Srila Prabhupada. And someone will argue that, okay, you are talking about the external form of the Guru or the Acharya, but internally also you have to follow some Vrajvasi. That is true. But the way in ISKCON, and I also would like to share something very important, again, with reference to Bhakti Charu Maharaj. The one time he actually asked Prabhupada, that Prabhupada, how will I understand, how will I know my Swarupa? And Prabhupada said that when the time comes, everything will be revealed to you from the transcendental platform. Okay, this is what Prabhupada said. And we have to understand a few things also. So, see, first and foremost, the desire is the most important thing. Without having desire to attain Radha Krishna in Vrindavan, no one can actually start or prepare for their journey. Okay, so the desire, the first and foremost is the desire. So now all of us have the desire to attain Radha Krishna in Vrindavan, right? And this is a similar, I think every devotee in ISKCON, they want to attain Radha Krishna in Vrindavan. Almost everyone, I think, because we are followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because we are connected to him, so our destination is definitely Goloka Vrindavan. Okay. Now, if someone would like to attain Vaikuntha or Ayodhya or Dwarka, that's up to them. But Mahaprabhu, definitely he will lead us to Goloka Vrindavan, right in the center of Goloka. Okay, that is for sure. So this destination is fixed for us if we have the desire. But now, how will that desire manifest? How will we come to the state of Raganuga Bhajan? So now we have a process that we are following in ISKCON, and that process is mostly centered around the Bhagavad Vidhi. As we know that the Panchratrik Vidhi is, whenever if there is a conflict between Bhagavad and Panchratrik, then we will definitely prefer the Bhagavad Vidhi. Okay, and this is what Prabhupada also emphasized, that Kirtan and Bhagavatam, these are more important than the Panchratrik Vidhis. But we know that in order to make devotees come to a transcendental platform, we have to follow some rules and regulations, because we are coming from background of Sudras. We are all Sudras. Okay. And what to speak of Sudra, we are also Malichas, Yavanas, because this is what we were prior to coming to Krishna consciousness. So you have this category of this type of people around you. You cannot expect that they will immediately come to a steady platform. So now see, who can become a Brajvasi, who can practice Raganuga sadhana? As we know that those who have taste, and one cannot attain taste unless and until one is steady in their devotion, right? You cannot attain that state. So unless and until you reach the state of nishta, you cannot attain ruchi. So you have to cross anartha nivritti, then come to the state of steadiness. And steadiness also has categories. It is also it is in 3 stages: steadiness of the body, steadiness of the physical steadiness. Then you have the steadiness of the speech, and then you have the steadiness of the mind, ultimately, which is more subtle, right? So the most toughest form of steadiness is steadiness of the mind, because our mind keeps wandering from one place to another place. So now let's at least start with the steadiness from outside, which is that whatever we are doing, sadhana or seva, let's be steady in that first. Okay. So whether it is chanting the holy name, Shravanam, or whether it is Padasevanam, Archanam, PT worship, or any kind of service we are doing, let's be steady in that service. If you are not steady, that means you have not attained external steadiness. What to speak of steadiness of the speech and the mind? It will take a long time for us to attain that. Okay. So first we have to come to the state of steadiness, and then after being steady, then only we attain ruchi, taste in Krishna consciousness. Okay. So this is how we transit from anartha nivritti to steadiness, and from steadiness to attaining a taste. So these are the devotees who are actually qualified to practice Raganuga Bhajan. Why? Because they are steady in their sadhana, they are steady in their devotion, they are steady in their seva. Okay, and that's why the Lord will give them the taste, right? So so basically what we are doing in ISKCON, because constantly we hear about Krishna's pastimes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes also, and that is actually very significant. When we hear Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes, it is a direct entry to Braj, right? So coming back to what Prabhu was also mentioning, that even if you go to Navdeep, that is also sufficient. So let me tell you one thing, that Navdeep Dham is intimately connected with Vrindavan Dham, and as mentioned in the Navdeep Dham Mahatmya, just by residing in Navdeep, one attains the form of a Sakhi in Vrindavan, right? This is given in Navdeep Dham Mahatmya by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So you can just imagine, just by following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we can actually attain the status of Sakhi in Vrindavan, just by residing in Navdeep Dham, just by assisting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, just by getting attached to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then also, who has spoken elaborately in the Chaitanya Chandra Amritam, and he mentions very beautiful thing. He says that to the degree we get attached to the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to the same degree, the love of Radha Rani will also manifest or overflood our hearts. Okay, the love of Srimati Radharani automatically will overflood the heart. You don't even have to separately worship Radha and Krishna. Just by following Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, just by getting attached to his lotus feet, just by assisting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, just by getting attached to the devotees of the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, automatically love for Srimati Radharani's heart, the love of Radharani will automatically flood our hearts. Okay, so we don't have to worry about it. If you are connected to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it will happen. And then also another place, Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur says that to the degree you attain attachment to the feet of Chaitanya, to the same degree you will also attain attachment to the feet of Shiva. So if you are attached to Mahaprabhu 50%, then Radharani also 50%. If you are attached to Mahaprabhu 100%, then Radharani also 100%. Right? So this is significance, great significance of being connected to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In fact, in Chaitanya Chandroday Nataka by Srila Kavi Karnapur, at the end of the winding up pastimes of the Lord, he mentions something extremely important. He says that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is talking with Advaita Acharya, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling to Advaita Acharya that I am willing to give everyone a form similar to that of the Vrajvasis or the Vrindavan forms, provided you have faith in my pastimes, provided you have faith in the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, provided you want to attain that destination. If you have the faith that the form of worship of Radha and Krishna is the highest in Vrindavan, then I'm willing to give all of you the same type of forms in Vrindavan, even if you have different forms in Vaikuntha. Even if you have relationship with Lord Narayan, or even if you have relationship with Krishna in some other ras, or with Dwarkadish Krishna, but I'm willing to give you an eternal form in Vrindavan. Okay, so what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, that just have faith in my words, just follow me, and just have a desire to attain Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. If you do this, then Mahaprabhu will arrange everything for us. Okay, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given assurances, and the Acharyas, Goswamis, they have given assurances that just by serving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's feet, just by being attached to him, everything will be attained to us without any separate endeavor to worship Radha and Krishna also. Now, obviously, we have been worshipping Radha and Krishna before worshipping Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because that's in our blood, especially for Indians. We have heard about Radha and Krishna. In fact, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is someone who is unfamiliar to us, right? So then, over a period of time, we start hearing about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his pastimes, and we also develop attachment to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In fact, whoever is a lover of Radharani, they will automatically get attached to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to the same degree. Okay, so this is very important. So now, having mentioned all these things, this is how Prabhupada actually designed in such a way that what happens is, by following ISKCON preaching, by following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by getting attached to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, everything will be revealed to us and it will come naturally to us. And as Prabhupada said, it will come from a transcendental platform. So now see, you have to also remember one thing, that Prabhupada also said many times that Krishna is within the heart, so he will guide the devotees. Okay, and then we have our Gurujan also. All these emotions will come naturally. Plus, Gaur Kishore Das Babari Maharaj, he said very clearly that our Swarupa will be revealed to us in the syllables of the holy name. So there are three ways one will attain Swarupa. One is through the holy name, one is through the Guru, and another is through an advanced devotee. These are the three ways how one can actually attain their Swarupa. So the process that ISKCON is following is attaining Swarupa by chanting the holy name, by Nam Sankirtan. Okay. In fact, I would tell you one thing, that it was Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur who mentioned very strongly that Ashtakalya Lila Smaranam of Radha and Krishna is our right. It is not the right of anyone else. It is not the right of all the Sahajas. It is our right, because we are actually following the process. We are following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So it is our right. And so we are entitled to it, but it comes with qualification, it comes with time. Okay. So our Acharyas knew everything, the entire Raganuga process also. But they have always emphasized, especially Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Srila Prabhupada, that the Swarupa and the details, everything will be revealed by chanting the holy name, by serving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. So if we get connected to now, if we get connected to the associate of Mahaprabhu, then everything is revealed to us. So that's why, see, if you remember in our Prabhupada Leela class, in the last class, one disciple asked Prabhupada that, Prabhupada, if we die distributing your books, but if we don't remember, if we are not able to remember Krishna, can we go back to Godhead? Prabhupada said, I don't know that. But then after some time he said that, but one thing I guarantee you, I can assure you, that if you keep distributing books throughout your life, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will personally come and pick you all by his own hand. He will take you, right? So, yeah, so Prabhupada, we just have to cultivate the sentiments of the Vrajvasis, and this is all internal. We don't have to show off. Even if someone is practicing Raganuga, by the definition of Bhakti Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Samrit Sindhu, in the external as well as internal form, but externally one has to behave like a sadhaka. So one may externally act like a sadhaka, but internally one may actually be absorbed in remembering the pastimes of Krishna with a particular associate in Braj. So this is internal meditation. Okay, and that's how these are all natural emotions and sentiments which will develop as we advance in spiritual life, provided we get rid of anarthas and we come to the state of steadiness. Then these things are, they will come automatically over a period of time. Plus, one can also, Raganuga Bhakti, the greed that, because the qualification to attain Raganuga Bhajan is greed. Okay, it is lobe. And that lobe can manifest in this lifetime, or it probably manifested in the previous lifetime, and we are just continuing from the previous life. So that's why some devotees may already have that greed. Okay, and they are just continuing with that. And that's why it is also possible that some devotees may already know their ras, at least their ras with the Lord, like which particular relationship they are very attached to, or they are extremely comfortable and favorable for their relationship with the Lord. So they may be aware of these things. It can come from the previous life also, because the greed is there. And obviously one of the symptoms of greed is that the devotee is always enthusiastic, he's always steady in his sadhana and seva. So this is how we can actually understand. Okay, and obviously they are also inclined towards Braj Bhakti. So is this clear now? So this is one of the ways how you can actually attain your Swarupa, how you'll understand everything from a transcendental platform. And then obviously there is another way of actually practicing Raganu Bhakti in the external form, in the sadhaka form, which is basically you keep hearing about, there are like Prabhupada explains the net of instruction. There are 5 stages of achieving perfection. And once the beginnings with Shravanam, and then it is Varanam, and then it is Smaranam. Smaranam also is divided into 5 parts. And then it is the 4th stage is Sampatti, or and the 5th is Samadhi, or something like that. Anyways, there are 5 stages. So this is how you actually progress. If you are actually practicing Raganuga Bhajan, that means what you are doing is, very interesting to note. One time I was in Bangalore, and I visited ISKCON temple in the morning. Fortunately, that time Srila Bhakti Charu Maharaj was also present, and he was giving a Bhagavatam class. So he was asked question about, I think maybe I or someone else asked about Raganuga Bhakti in ISKCON. And he said that actually there is a lot of population in Radhakund currently than in Bangalore, because everyone wants to run to Radhakund in order to attain their Swarupa, because it's a trend. Whoever goes to Radhakund, they would like to know about their Swarupa and all that. So there is more population in Radhakund than in Bangalore. And then later on, Bhakti Charu Maharaj explained that who has the time to practice Raganuga Bhajan? If you want to practice Raganuga Bhajan, you have to actually you don't have to do anything. You just have to hear and you have to just chant the holy name. So who has the time, who has, because Grihastha devotee, and what to speak of Grihastha devotees? What are they going to do? So in order to absorb yourself 24 hours a day in thinking of the pastimes of the Lord, or to meditate on the Ashtakaliya Leela of the Lord, what you have to do, you have to chant the holy name constantly, which is at least you have to chant 128 rounds every day. Then only you'll be able to meditate, or because you see, during the time of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the devotees, they had that kind of caliber. They were very advanced and they had no other distraction. So they were focused in their sadhana and the minds were not diverted. But in this particular day and age, our minds are diverted. We are not even controlling, we are not able to control our senses also. So what to speak of focusing on one particular thing. So he was mentioning that, that's practically not possible, and it is not everyone can do it. Okay. And even if there are a few very rare souls who can do it, but still, because their commitment to Srila Prabhupada, their loyalty to Srila Prabhupada, they want to fulfill the desire of Prabhupada more than they want to personally practice that Raganuga Bhajan. Okay. And because Prabhupada wanted to spread Krishna consciousness, that's why they are focusing on that more. And they feel guilty of not spreading Krishna consciousness and then focusing one's time for bhajan. That's why they are mostly trying to spread Krishna consciousness. So there are exalted Vaishnavas in our ISKCON, in the category of our Gurujan also, who are able to chant the holy name constantly. But just in order to set the example that Prabhupada also set, they are actually spreading Krishna consciousness, taking responsibilities, managing different things, and at the same time, they are classic examples of humility and dedication to Guru Gauranga. So one thing, okay, another interesting point is that, truly speaking, Raganuga, the essence of Raganuga Bhajan is intense absorption or complete surrender to the feet of Krishna, right? And that means it's basically nothing different than having that intense focus and dedication for one's Guru, because the Guru is the manifestation of Krishna in the material world. Now, once you are, so when we are neophytes in Krishna consciousness, we follow the instructions of Guru and we try to develop attachment to his instructions. Okay. But when we advance in spiritual life, then the same Guru is seen in a different way. Especially for those who are Raganuga devotees, they start seeing Guru as the associate of the Lord. Okay, like for example, you get attracted to, you get attraction to Lalita Sakhi or Subal Sakha or Nand Maharaj, Yashoda Maiya. Then what happens? You start seeing that associate in your Guru. Okay, and because of that, once you start seeing that, then you will give everything to your Guru, because this is what in the spiritual world also you will do. Okay, whatever associate you are attracted to in the spiritual world, that associate becomes the life and soul of your entire being. Okay, and you will surrender everything to that associate. So that associate is actually represented in the form of Guru, and so you will do anything to please your Guru. So this is actually actual Rag Marg, one pointed attention towards the feet of Guru to serve, to please him. Okay, and if we do not please the Guru, and if we do something that he has not instructed us, or he is not recommending us, then definitely that will not be, I don't think it will be Rag Marg as such. It is basically sense gratification. There are devotees, as we know from Bhakti-Rasamrita Sindhu also, Goswami quotes the examples of Kubja, right? Kubja was also Krishna's great devotee, but she was attracted to her own sense gratification. She was lusty, she wanted to fulfill her lust. And because she fulfilled her lust with Krishna. That's why she got purified through it. But she is in a inferior type of category than the associates of Krishna in Vrindavan. Because in Vrindavan, you have no other desire than to please Krishna's desire. Not even iota of desire. That is the intensity of the Vrajvasis. So we don't have that intensity. That's why we always consider that we are not qualified. But we just try to cultivate those sentiments. We aspire to achieve those kind of sentiments. Okay. And that sentiments, because we don't have that initially, the Guru is training us. He's training us to attain those kind of sentiments, or he's directing us to channelize these sentiments and being able to guide you and train you to somehow direct those sentiments to surrender to Krishna. So he's channelizing those sentiments, and that's how we also get trained thoroughly, and we develop those type of sentiments. Right? So there are details which you attain in the spiritual world. Like, for example, what is your form? How do you look like? What is your age? What color of sari do you wear, or a color of dhoti do you wear in the spiritual world? So these are all details that will be revealed to us in the spiritual world. It is not necessary for us to know now. But for us, at least in this stage, as a sadhaka, what is most important is to cultivate the sentiment, the foundation of that sentiment, which is that Krishna is the object of enjoyment. Everything belongs to Krishna, and we are supposed to be completely surrendered to Krishna's desire. So that training, that foundational training, is given in the material world as a sadhaka to us. If we cultivate that training, if we cultivate that sentiment, or if we come to that particular level, that itself is actually an achievement for us in this life. And obviously, when you have that kind of sentiment, then obviously everything will be revealed to us later on. So, it is something which is, something which is not so, esoteric to understand. There are esoteric ways to perform Raganuga Bhakti, but Raganuga Bhakti itself is not so esoteric to understand. It's a logical principle, right? That if you want to attain a similar taste like that of, or the mood of the Vrajvasis, then what is the bhav? What is their bhav? The bhav of the Vrajvasis is that they are completely sold out to Krishna. And so this is what we are trying to get trained in the material world when we are seeing the Guru. Okay, and we try to get sold out to the Guru. And obviously now the Guru does not demand such a high level of surrender, but at least Prabhupada has given a standard of 16 non-regulative principles, and then he has also said that many other things he said. So as much as possible, we try to do, at least cultivate the mood of humility, and at least we follow the instructions of Guru. And we have to make one even if we are not able to follow all the instructions of the Guru, but we should always remember one thing: we should never displease the Guru, or we should never. So sometimes the Guru will say we should not do this. Okay, that we should avoid. Even if we are not able to follow the instructions, all the instructions of Guru, but if the Guru says don't do this, if he says this repeatedly, then we should not do that. Okay, because obviously there are so many levels of different categories of aparadhs also. If you neglect what the Guru says over and over and again, if the Guru is requesting you to do certain things, if you neglect it, that is also disrespect to the Guru, and it can convert into the form of aparadh. Okay, if you straightforwardly reject the instruction of Guru, that's obviously a severe aparadh. And if you speak disrespectfully, that is also an offense to the Guru. So these are all different categories of offenses, but we have to make sure that we should never displease the Guru. At least in terms of we should value, whatever he tells us, we should value those things, and we should take it seriously. We should never disregard it. So sometimes some instructions can be delayed. It can be delayed for the future, but it should never be ignored completely. Then it becomes an offense. Okay. So is this clear? Do you have any particular comment or question? So are you all satisfied that you will go to, just by being in ISKCON, you will go to Radha and Krishna in Braj, or there is still some doubt? Hare Krishna, any doubt, any comment?
No problem.
Okay. Nirvika, are you there?
Yeah, Prabhuji, I'm just feeling a bit heavy. I think I might just have to leave the class right now. I'm not feeling a bit well. Just too much of
Yeah,
cold actually.
okay. Take care. You should not be. I hope that I mean, because we have
Yeah,
the pandemic also. So
yeah, yeah. I think it's mostly just because of this climate change and all that. I get it often during this one.
yeah. So
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. I'll leave now.
yeah. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so we can continue from next time onwards, right? Yeah.
Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, let me just